What's up, guys? So we're going to be doing a little bit of a set review for Opus 22. Today is actually Tuesday the 12th, so everything kind of got revealed by IGN again, which is hilarious to me. I don't know why IGN is even associated with this card game, but anyways, we're going to be going through, in this video, we're going to do Fire, Ice, and Wind, and then we will pick back up in a few videos and do the next chunk of elements. I don't know if we'll do all of those next, but anyways, if you've noticed, I've done a little bit of work on the channel to rename some videos and kind of make some playlists called Holding Priority. That's what we're going to try to call these longer form videos where we just kind of sit and talk podcast style. And
Ramble.
yeah, ramble, truthfully. So I have gone back and renamed all those and put them all in their own separate playlists. So if you're interested to go back and listen to thoughts about Opus 21 when it released and whatever. I think we've only done like 4 videos that were really called this. Our Winter Cup recap, I changed that one because that made sense in my brain for some reason. But anyways,
Yeah.
so today we're going to go through Opus 22 and yeah, we'll just get right into that. This video is sponsored by Nerd Labs. At Nerd Labs, we carry all kinds of Final Fantasy TCG singles. If we don't have the card, it's probably because, I don't know, somebody's already bought it. We carry everything from promos all the way from Opus 1 to Opus 21. Every single day, prices are updated to be 10% cheaper than whatever is TCG player low. So get your singles while you can. Back to the video. I guess to start with Fire, Orin was already slightly revealed, so I don't know if we need to say much about him. I don't know if you've seen him, though. If we haven't seen one, just holler, because there's been a bunch that I have seen already.
I haven't seen quite a few. I've been trying to keep up with them, but busy.
Yeah, for sure. So, trying to zoom in a little here. Not get a
Yeah.
little crazy. Being on a Mac is weird sometimes. So, Orin, backup that has back attack, which is always really interesting. When he enters the field, choose a forward during this turn. The next damage dealt to it by your opponent's summons or abilities becomes 0. So, thematically, right in line with Orin because of how he is in the games and stuff like that. So, I like backups that have back attack, and they're even costed backups at that. So, I like that.
It's pretty crazy because, we were talking about the elements as it is right now, and we were talking about fire just needs some backups
Mm-hmm.
in general that are going to be decent. And Orin, he's not bad. He's 2 costs, so definitely an easy way to spam more backups. And there's more that I've seen that are coming out as well that have been spoiled. So
Yeah,
more
I like
backup.
I like Orin. I think he's an easy shoe in, but he just does
Yeah.
what Orin does, right? I think he's perfectly fine.
Yep.
Red Mage, standard unit backup. So choose a forward if it costs 5 or less. It gains this forward cannot block until the end of the turn. Or you can pay 1, tap him, discard 1 fire card. So effectively 3 CP, and you have to put him into the break zone. Well, effectively you would need 2 backups and a card in hand because you have to tap him plus pay 1 more and ditch a card. So 4 CP. Choose a forward, deal at 8k. Personally,
Ah,
I think that's way too
not
expensive.
bad, but yeah.
There's way better options to deal 8k to something than paying 4 CP and getting rid of a backup. Now, he costs you
Uh,
2, so if he pays for himself and you've, gotten the worth out of him, that's perfectly fine.
yeah. I have a feeling that this is gonna be pretty cool just because it's another 2 cost backup that's easy to play. It's not really high costly, but the choose 1 forward of cost 5 or less. It gains this forward cannot block. There's some more forwards and monsters that are low cost that are coming out. That'll be really cool to use that with. And on top of that, the one monster that we'll run into it. It'll actually do damage upon attacking. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. 5 or less is also. It seems like they're doing a lot with 5 or less now.
Yeah.
It used to be a lot of 4 or less, blah, blah, blah. But it definitely seems like the creeping up of 5 or less is starting to happen. which,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in red, if you're being aggressive, obviously making something to where it can't block is good. It's very lightning element ish, whatever. But yeah,
Kind of wind as well.
yeah,
Yeah, wind does that a lot.
not bad overall. I definitely like the first action ability rather than the second one, but
Yeah, the second one is kind of overlooked, but
yeah,
it could be sitting back there for when you really need it, though.
yeah, just pushing for game, honestly.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm. All right, so we've got some samurai support. Um,
Ah,
so we have a Yame, Brave. When a job samurai or card name samurai other than a Yame enters your field, she gains 4K. So she could potentially be huge. But then when a Yame attacks, choose one forward your opponent controls. If she has 9,000 power or more, deal it 7K. So how does that tie into samurais at all? You're the
Samurais.
samurai guy, yeah.
I like this. I don't know that it's going to be a whole lot of play, but it does add the samurai job or name to CN to be able to attack to stack the damage. And it's a low cost. It's only two costs because hardly any of the other samurais besides the backups are two costs. Almost all the forwards are three drops.
Mm-hmm.
CN, the other samurais, the standard units are all three. Then you got your four cost Heen, and then your Gazetsus are three costs as well. So I
Mm-hmm.
think it's pretty cool that they added a lower cost samurai for sure.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's when a card name samurai or job samurai, it's not a forward. It could be if you're playing a
Yeah.
tempo based samurai deck, which I would argue that Tenzin is probably one of the most tempo based cards for samurais. Being able to just
Yeah.
literally search for a card every turn and then have that card locked and loaded to play next turn is gonna make her so much better in the sense of every single turn she's gonna gain the 4K. So every single turn she's gonna be able to attack and deal 7K to something.
Mhm. Yes.
So as long as you're
And then if
playing
you have CN out
samurais,
there,
yeah, and then he's just gonna exponentially just keep adding, right?
yeah,
And
it can be really good.
yeah, in a world where samurais are playing Leftia or Jin or whatever to increase that damage. What's double-headed dragon? What's that one?
Uh, yeah, the I think it's two-headed dragon. Some
Two-headed
what
dragon.
is
That
it
sounds
called?
closer.
Yeah,
No.
I think.
Yeah, two-headed dragon. When a fire forward you control attacks, choose a forward your opponent controls, deal 4K. So you have to choose it twice. So unless you're going up against like Neo or something, obviously that's not preferred. But I mean, I'm bad at math right now. 7 plus 4, that's 11,000 damage every single time she attacks.
Yeah,
That's busted.
even with the Jin out there, I mean that's gonna be good
Yeah,
because that's gonna be eight with the
that's
Jin.
8K. I personally
Which speaking
think
of
that.
that,
Uh huh.
was it?
I was gonna say I personally think she's good overall.
Yeah, she's gonna be a three of in mine probably for the
Yeah.
first little bit. And speaking of samurais, I just put that right back together. I went
Nice.
away from the whole what was I running the three drop Magissa samurai variant.
Yeah,
Tried to
yeah,
make
yeah.
it work, but just wouldn't.
Mm-hmm. No shame in that. I definitely think she fits into that.
Yeah.
Um, Next we have Angeal. So he's a soldier backup. If a job soldier forward you control deals damage to a forward, the damage increases by 2K. When he enters the field, you can pay X. When you do, search for a job forward of cost X and play it onto the field. So this is really good in my opinion. Simply because I'm actually just going to duplicate this tab so that we can search and keep our place at the other. So, well, let's not do soldier, I guess. So, job, soldier. So, let's just look at a couple of soldiers that potentially could be busted, right? So, obviously, the new stuff that's coming out, right? But cards of Opus is past. This cloud, obviously, this sets up Fire, Earth, Cloud Pod to be really, really good. And then the other one that really comes to mind is that new promo Zac. So when an active forward deals, or when an active forward of your opponent controls becomes dull due to your summoner ability, choose a forward your opponent controls, deal it 5k. Well, how about now we just deal it 7k? So
That's true.
yeah, Fire Lightning Soldier. Is it a thing? I don't know, maybe. But I definitely think that's very, very interesting. I think obviously the synergy here is supposed to be with the new limit break. Zac, when Zac enters, it pings for 3k, but now it pings for 5k. That's cute, whatever. But I definitely feel like this Angeal being able to, when he enters, pay X. I can search for any of these soldiers that are not named Angeal. I feel like that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. There's options there.
Grab Zac from the deck and start swinging. Because he literally can... He has haste. He attacks. Choose a forward your opponent controls. Dull it. Boom. Right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty good. And if you're the combo player, if you like to play Yu-Gi-Oh!, obviously you could build the Soldier Cloud Pod style deck. I don't think that's bad either. I didn't even notice how busted this would be. When Sephiroth attacks, all the forwards your opponent controls... All the dull all the forwards your opponent controls with 8,000 or less. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. So can we get to a point where you have this crazy combo of Sephiroth, Zac, and Angeal? And then can we find another 1,000 damage? Because then you could, when he attacks, you're going to dull everything. And just like in the world of Zeramis, Zac would then deal 5k per active forward that becomes dull. So then with Angeal, that bumps it up to 7k. Can we find another 8 or another 1,000 just to make this 8k or less just become a board wipe? I think that's
you
pretty
can run
interesting.
your Jin.
Yeah, you can run Jin if you're going to be in Fire Lightning as it is. I like that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I definitely think that Angeal is really, really good.
Ignacio.
Now, this was... Obviously, it's been revealed for a while, and Leon and I were joking about this card. I really like him. Simply because he's like that oddball character that I don't think goes with Final Fantasy VIII, but with all the Final Fantasy VIII stuff that's been revealed, I think he fits right into that deck.
Yeah.
So, obviously, when he enters, put top 3 cards in your break zone. The reason that that's good is obviously because of Fujin, Raijin. It sets up Ultimecia and Adia and all that stuff. So, that's good. But, obviously, he's supposed to be a mono fire card. I don't know if you want to pay 5 to mill 3. I don't know if that's... on curve at all, but probably not. But when you do so, choose up to 1 forward. If all the cards put into the break zone are fire element, deal that forward 9,000. So it's obviously intended to be a mono fire card, but 5 is hefty.
Yeah.
I feel like it could have been, if it would have been a 3-drop, and let's say it milled 5 instead, then...
Yep.
And even if it doesn't deal 9k, let's say it deals 7k.
7k and a mono and a fire. Yeah. You'll get your 8k ping.
Yeah. And that puts it very much in line with like a Magissa style deck. And, I think that would have made it really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Arguably too good. I could understand that, but I think overall he's fine.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. Not too great, but not too bad.
Yeah.
He's okay.
Yeah. So next we have Garland. He does have an EX burst. When Garland enters the field, choose a job knight. Other than Garland in your break zone, add it to your hand. That's perfectly fine. But when a job knight other than Garland enters your field, choose a forward your opponent controls, deal it 5k. So, kind of like we predicted in our fire video, we're getting a lot of pings, right? We're just still sticking to the ping damage.
Yeah.
It's weird that it's a job knight that has to enter. I mean, it's not weird. It's more narrow, I guess, in card deck construction wise. But I again think that this is perfectly fine. I don't know that I would play this over Opus 14 Garland in any way.
Yeah, if you're running knights, I don't know.
Yeah, and fire water seems to kind of be where knights tend to end up. I mean, yeah, there's Laswell and Charlotte and stuff in ice. There is a world where yeah, I can see some fire ice action, but fire water seems to kind of be where they're at. And I again, I don't know that I like this more than I like Opus 14. It's nice that you can add back a thing, you know. It's okay.
Yeah.
I think if anything,
Yeah.
it's perfect as special fodder because of the EX burst, right? It's perfectly fine for EX fodder for the Opus 14 Garland because special tap, choose one forward, break it, then your opponent selects it back up. They control, put it in the break zone. So this to me feels like the play that you make in the deck, but this feels like the EX burst that you're fine with hitting if you hit it.
Yeah. There's a lot of garlands.
Yeah, this one's my favorite.
Wow.
Um, so yeah, I don't know how impactful that will be for the knight deck. Although there is plenty of knight support in the set, so possibly I might eat my words on that.
Yeah, probably.
So Carla, here's your Type Zero stuff. Your Agito Cadet. So
Yeah.
basically tap one or tap her, choose a forward your opponent controls, deal it 3k. Or you can tap her and choose an attacking forward. It gains 2k until the end of the turn. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
If
very,
it said class zero cadet, it'd be better.
yeah, it's very okay. I don't,
Yeah.
I don't hate it, but I don't think I'd ever play it either. Like
I don't know why, but all the Guido cadets get like either backups and stuff, but class zeros aren't really getting much, but the same names printed over and over.
right,
Which I've never played the Type Zero, so I don't know how many characters there are in the Type Zero or Class Zero. So
yeah.
maybe there's not enough.
I'm thinking of Goblin. I mean, why? Maybe you're playing, yeah, an Agito Cadet or Type Zero deck. I don't know. Maybe you're into that, but like, choose a forward your opponent controls, deal it 3k. That's attached to a body of 7k. But like, why wouldn't I just play goblins instead, right? Why wouldn't I just be able to do that the turn that I put goblin on the field, you know?
Yeah.
Or all the bombs. We were just looking at bombs. Um, was it hedgehog?
Yeah, hot chalk pie.
Yeah,
You got to discard a card for it to play another one.
yeah, but
It's still better. It's instant ping.
yeah, like I still agree. I think that's slightly better. She's three costed, yeah. I mean, in theory, yeah, you're ditching one to play Hedgehog Pie, but then you put him into the break zone, and I mean, you're essentially what looping 4 CP
Hmm.
to deal 5k. I don't know. I just she's kind of I guess in line, slightly worse than other options out there for me. I just still don't think I play her
Yeah.
ever.
No, probably not.
Yeah. Clavat. Look, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell everybody. I don't know how the hell to pronounce all these names, but if we screw it up, let us
Me
know.
neither.
Yeah. So standard unit FFCC backup. So definitely Fire Wind Norstalin kind of synergy here. I guess if
Yeah.
you want to go that route.
Searchable.
But 1 CP when she enters, look at the top card of your deck. You can place it at the top or at the bottom if you would prefer, or you could technically just leave it at the top. Sure. Again, I
Mm,
don't think that's. I never. I have never really cared to just look at the top card of my deck. I need to do something
yeah.
with it. Nini is a fantastic choice in my opinion. Look at the top card. If I've cast three, well, look at the top card. You can put it at the bottom. If you have cast three, you can draw a card. So in that instance, I can look at it. I don't want that. I stick it on the bottom, and then I draw a different card. Or I look at that card, I say, oh shit, I need that, and then I just draw that card. But this, I feel like, does nothing for me.
Uh, Not really. And I think they printed in each color, didn't they? Basically, for
Uh,
same con the card.
I
I
do
put
not know.
like a one drop backup. I can
Oh yeah,
fuke
they
right
did.
there.
Oh, I don't like that. Okay, well, I mean that's fine. We got
Kind of
really
like the free
good.
play ones.
Yeah, we got really good three drops last set. I guess we had to get some crappy one drops this set, maybe.
Yeah.
Eh. Jecht. So this guy was spoiled, and I thought he was pretty cool. Cost required to cast Jecht is reduced by one for each fire character you control. And then when Jecht enters the field, choose one forward your opponent controls. Jecht and the chosen forward deal damage equal to their respective power to the others. Now, the reason that I think this is cool is A, you're playing him on a fire, whatever. You just can cast this guy for free, right? It does not have the cannot be zero clause. So you control, a couple monsters, a couple backups, and a couple forwards. Boom. You've got Jecht for free. But the thing is,
Yeah.
if you're running the basically ping increasers, I don't know what we want to call those though. If we use Jin or whatever to increase that damage, then Jecht easily gets over some of the more problematic things, some of the more sticky forwards that like gain a lot of power that are hard to get rid of. Because it just deals damage and outside of combat, you could get rid of four color wall. You could get rid of Neo. You could get rid of because look, I'm gonna die to Neo anyways, right? Might as well just sack my own Jecht so that the effect is still on the stack and they deal damage to each other. That's not a terrible outlet, right?
No,
I
not
think
too
Jecht is
bad.
interesting, but
Yeah,
that's just me.
could be.
Also, it's amazing special fodder for the other Jecht, the water Jecht that just cancels whatever he wants.
Oh yeah,
I really want to build a deck around like just effect denial. I think that would be really fun for me. Obviously, not
that would be
anybody
pretty
else.
crazy.
um,
Yeah.
so our first category 8 character, and please rein me in because I'll probably talk about these too much. Um, so obviously, category 8 is getting a ton of love this set, and I feel really good about it. I don't know and or care how many other people feel about it, but Selfie. So when Selfie enters the field, you can search for a category 8 forward and add it to your hand. And then for a lonely 0, you can choose one category 8 character other than Selfie. And until the end of the turn, it gains 1,000 power, haste, and brave. You can only use this ability during your turn and only once per turn. So I think that is perfectly acceptable. Um, Legend worthy, maybe. I mean, I personally think that that's more of like a hero for me. But, anyways, searching for a category 8 forward
Yeah.
is automatically good. Now, category 8 kind of struggles in the sense of its color identity because it kind of, borders a lightning, an ice, and a fire kind of like realm between the three colors, and it never has like a solid footing in either of them. But we'll get to a card in a little bit that allows this Selfie to literally just be played for free. And it's fucking good. So I definitely think that
Yeah.
Selfie, in a vacuum, Selfie is not that great. But in the archetype that she's built for, I think she does wonders. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you have much to say about Selfie.
I don't really play much Category 8, but yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know that I will jump on the Category 8 wagon, but we'll see. Might be
I
the only
have
thing played.
I really hope not. I mean, of course I love the Final Fantasy VIII, but I loved it simply because I've just played and loved and adored the game. So, I mean, if it becomes meta, hey, that's cool. I'll probably get beat the shit out of with it, so that's cool too, I guess. But
Yeah.
I did buy a bunch of Final Fantasy VIII cards to prepare, so I foiled out a lot of stuff. I did not buy full art Ultimecias or Irvines because they're both like $50 a piece right now. So
Damn.
yeah, very
Yeah,
expensive,
that's
and I
crazy.
did not want to drop like $300 on something. So, anyways, Warrior. So if you control two or more job standard unit backups, Warrior gains 2K.
Eh,
Eh, I mean, Megissa target, Tyvus target.
yeah.
Um, I don't know how Mono Fire is playing a lot of job standard unit backups.
I
Eh,
guess they're playing this Clavet, and then the what was that first one? The second one we showed.
the Red
Third,
Mage.
yeah, Red Mage. You may be in a world where you play Red Mage and Clavets.
Eh, I still feel like that's bad.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
maybe you're playing a Samurai slash Warrior deck. Eh?
yeah, possibly.
I mean, what is it? Just before I lose this train of thought, it has to be a Warrior or card name, Job Warrior or card name Warrior. So that is unfortunately not amazing, but
Yeah,
that's not horrible.
it adds another one for it.
When are we going to get a Samurai version of Tavis?
We should, but it's probably going to be Tenzin, so it's not really going to be.
I think that's not a
I,
bad trade off, honestly. I mean, the old
it's
Tenzin
not.
has to do an in phase, so
Yeah,
just at any
to
point
be
in
able to
time.
search one and play it for free. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's interesting. So yeah, this warrior is whatever.
that would be
Monsters,
amazing.
monsters for your boy.
Uh,
So
Foulender
yeah.
looks pretty good.
So during your turn, he also becomes a forward with 4K. So I think that's going to be kind of like the theme of all the monsters this set is during your turn they're also forwards, which kind of takes away a little of the mysticism that forwards carry with them because they are non-targetable objects while not forwards a lot of the times because there's not as much monster hit. But I guess that's one of the answers that they're trying to give, even though it doesn't do anything for the monsters printed in previous sets. Except there was that one
Yeah,
opus that they were also forwards during your turn, I think. Anyways, when he attacks,
yeah,
choose a
or
forward your opponent.
damage three.
Yeah, they automatically become forwards, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So when he attacks, choose a forward your opponent controls, deal it 3K. That's perfectly fine. And if at damage 3, if Fallender deals damage to a forward, the damage is increased by 2K. So at damage 3, he becomes a 5K ping. Sure. I mean, I'm not head over heels with it, but the Yu-Gi-Oh brain that I have sometimes, he has a category 7, so we were just talking about fire, lightning, soldier deck. This is definitely a potential target for Cloud to go grab another 2-drop forward if you wanted to, because Cloud
yeah,
just has to get rid of actually, is it yeah, it has to be a forward, right? Because during your turn he becomes a forward anyways.
yeah.
So yeah, put one category 7 forward into the break zone. Just go grab a 2-drop category 7 card, or who cares? Grab a category or a 2-drop whatever your heart
I
desires.
think that this is a pretty good card. I like it.
Okay.
Just because at damage three it becomes a 5K ping, so there you go. And then also they're probably not going to block him because I would assume the battle damage would be increased by two as well. Would it not?
Yeah, because if he deals damage to a forward in general, so it becomes 6,000 damage if he's attacking something.
So 6,000 damage plus the four, so you can knock out something for 10K. So damage three, this is probably going to be basically a free attack because they're not going to want to. You're going to attack with this every turn at damage three and pick their biggest forward and they're not going to block with it. They're probably just going to say, okay, I'll take the damage until they can't no more. And then at that point, they're going to have to block it and they're going to lose a forward.
Yeah.
And it's a 1 CP trade off that might get you 2 to 3 damage. If you're already at damage 3, you can bring them to 2 or 3 damage, and then you're going to kill something because they're going to have to eventually block it or deal with it in your turn, you know?
Yeah, it's potentially a stabilizer at that point, right?
Yeah.
It puts you
Yeah.
back in the game.
Very
Okay.
much.
I like it. So then moving on to Machina, Class Zero Cadet. Here's your boy. Uh,
Yeah.
so very interesting clause here. He's a 1 CP backup, but the cost required to cast him is increased by 1 for each forward you control. So
Not bad.
yeah, it's weird. Um, Very interesting that they want him to cost more. Uh, anyways, tap one or pay one, tap him, and put him into the break zone, choosing one forward, deal at 7K. Um, I mean, it's weird to me that he's going to cost more for each forward that I control. So obviously, he's not supposed to be that like win more card. He's definitely supposed to be the comeback card. But then I also have to get rid of him to deal something 7K. So I feel like it's almost like I'm
Yeah.
getting him at a big discount, but then I now have to get rid of him to do something else. That seems weird to me.
Yeah.
Almost counterproductive.
Yeah.
I want to play him cheap and I want to keep him, right? Because then he just adds value back for me.
I will play this just for the simple fact that he's going to be a Class Zero cadet backup,
Mm-hmm.
and it counts towards the names.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're doing like some of the other Class Zero cadet stuff, and the new ones, if you control two or more, so if he's on there, you automatically get your effects off of theirs when you play that. And the way I play my Class Zero cadets is usually set up 2 or 3 backups and then start pulling out forwards. So if he's one of your first ones, he's going to cost a whole lot less. So he's going to cost the 1 CP,
Yeah.
uh, which I don't think makes him bad. And like literally my Class Zero cadet, I only have like one backup basically. That's a Class Zero cadet, which is Trey
Yeah.
at the moment because it's fire lightning. So this will just and no, I got Cater. So this will add Machina, Cater, and Trey. So you'll have at least 3 backups that are Class Zero cadets,
And
which will add to the numbers.
how easy is it to search them?
I'm not sure. Not really, because the Agito Cadet is the engine that I run that searches everything.
Right.
And they search the other Agito Cadets. Not really many things search Class Zero Cadets unless it's like a forward, which is Arciela, which is a backup you play.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Arciela, but it'll search a forward. So,
I gotcha.
but he will be a 3 of in my Class Zero. No, it's not Arciela. What is it? Rashima or something? I can't remember. It's 3 drop lightning. They have a 3 drop version and a 4 drop version of her. She's lightning backup.
Mm.
Keep going. Huh, let's see. And she's not. Oh, she's not Class Zero cadet. She's either a Guido or sorcerer or something like that. But she searches
Mm-hmm.
either Type Zero maybe forward.
Yeah.
Let's see.
This one. No,
Ar-
but it's her.
yeah, Arcia or whatever her name is. But she'll search like a Type Zero forward, I think. So she's got a 6 drop, a 3 drop, and a 4 drop version of it. And a 2 drop.
Jesus.
There's a lot of Type Zero
Yeah.
right there. 3 drop.
It's crazy how many cards they have, but they're all like so name clashed and they're so under supported nowadays, truthfully.
Yeah. She's an archeress or something like that. Right there, she is 3 drop.
Yeah, arc sorceress.
Arciella,
Yeah.
arc sorceress. Yeah,
Hmm. Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
But she'll just
that's not bad. I mean, I still don't think he's the answer that Class Zero needs.
no, definitely not. They need a color fixer. That way you can play some of the wind in there
Yeah.
for sure.
All right. So moving on to Bellius the Gigas. So all of our summons kind of have a clause attached to them. I actually personally haven't seen Bellius. So choose one forward you control and one forward your opponent controls. Until the end of the turn, the former gains 3k and first strike. Deal the latter 7,000 damage. If the CP paid to cast Bellius was only produced by backups, also draw one card. So they all have this if they were produced by backups to cast, also draw a card. So effectively they become 1 CP, right? They net you 2 CP back. So that's not horrible. Um, Almost very in line with how the crystal generator backups were last set.
Yeah,
But this I don't think is actually horrible. I don't think that I play it much, but till the end of the turn, your basically let's say you choose your forward and well, your forward gains 3k and first strike. Deal the latter 7k. All right. So at this point now, my 7k forward with first strike now trades with 4 CP wool. My 8k forward, which is kind of like the going rate at this point, right? My 8k forward now gets over wool, or
yeah,
literally my 4k forward trades with wool, right? Because I'm
yeah,
4k, I gain 3k. Well, it doesn't even have to be that. If I'm dealing them 7,000, it doesn't matter. Any of my forwards now trade with wool
yeah.
because I'm going to deal it 7,000. It only has 3,000 left, and I'm automatically gaining 3,000. My 1k forwards just, yeah, I don't think that's efficient by any means, but it's not bad in a pinch.
No, I don't think it'll be played that much, but it's there
Yeah,
for the niche deck that will.
yeah. But this Meath, though, I really like this
Ah,
Meath. So, 2 CP backup, uh, FFCC, of course. When Meath enters the field, you may remove a backup other than Meath you control from the game if you do draw 2 cards. Now, of course, the where my brain's been at in the last set, at least, I really, really like this only because Meath lets me replay a backup that I've already gotten the value out of, right? So
yeah,
I get to remove Tyro from the game, draw 2 cards, and then I can play Tyro again onto the field. So Tyro searched me a forward. I removed Tyro from the game. I drew 2 cards. I get to play Tyro again next turn, whatever. So
yeah.
obviously it's not fast. It's not the most speediest of plays, but now decks will have a way to get rid of a Shantoto, right? Because in most cases, you only get the option to cast that Shantoto one time a game, right? Who in the right mind is going to break their opponent's Shantoto,
Yeah.
right? Or I break my own Shantoto and I just use, spoiler alert, the limit break Shantoto, right? Because obviously you can't name
Hmm.
clash with the limit break. So I don't think that's horrible. I really don't.
No, I like the meat, and I think they're gonna try and incorporate where you're playing more backups with this fire, especially with the 1 drop standard units
Mm-hmm.
that we just talked about. So playing the 1 drop standard unit off of a backup, and then playing Meath to ditch that one to draw 2 cards, it doesn't sound so bad.
Yeah.
And you get to, you eventually get to look at um essentially get to look at that top card. If you played that off a backup, then you ditched one to play Meath to send it to the break zone if that's what you wanted to do,
Yeah.
or even just late game playing it. Be
Yeah.
cool. And then also, there's a world where you could play Larkishas, and you've removed this biggest threat, and they've played another one of the same thing. Then you just Meath your Larkishas so that the name clashes, and it just won't come back in,
Right.
and you drew two cards,
Yeah.
and then you can play another Larkishas to
Yeah.
remove the other one. Another,
To remove their other threat that they've already played.
yeah, I know that's very situational, but that would be messed up.
I love that. That's actually not horrible. And I'm plussing by drawing 2 cards by doing it.
And then you're getting rid of their biggest threat.
Yeah, I like that. That is not horrible
Yeah.
at all.
Well,
Um,
and Larkishas FFCC, by the way. So
yeah. So he fits right in line with a. Are we gonna see some fire wind this set? That'd be really nice.
I don't know, which would be awesome because the even if you played the 2-drop standard unit that makes you be blocked by a less 5 or less, a lot of wind does that.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's true.
could be something.
So we are definitely getting a ton of FFBE stuff, which I
Oh, hot.
I am a huge fan of because yes, I love the card art. They are very nice cards. Um, so Minwoo, FFBE here. 7k forward for a low cost of 0. Choose a card in your break zone. During this turn, you can cast it at any time you could normally cast it as long as you have no cards in your hand. You can only use this
Hmm.
ability during your turn and only once per turn. So this card right here, you might have saw it in the group chat with Leon. I think this is the answer to mono wind. Now, is Hobby Japan these omnipotent fucking 5-head geniuses where they knew that Rug and Rufus was going to be a huge deal? I don't know. Although I know they're very smart, I don't know that they knew that. But anyways, I love this card. I have 0 cards in hand anyways, right? Because mono ice has put me there. But now I just get to cast cards from my break zone.
Yeah,
I
as long
mean,
as you're able to set up and get backups.
yeah, of course. I mean, you do have to. It does require a little bit of setup, but I think that's probably one of the most interesting cards that I have seen out of the set so far.
Yeah,
And
probably would definitely be played in a fire deck that had backups to set up.
yeah, and you can tap, discard 3 cards, deal 10k to all forwards your opponent controls. That's
Yeah,
busted, right? I feel like that is stupid good because you're gonna let's say I have Minwoo on the field, right? I've got 3 cards in hand. You're gonna lay down Rug. You're gonna lay down Rufus. You're gonna swing with Rug. Sure, you can swing with Rug. Declare targets. You either save your Rug or you lose your Rufus, right? But I'm just gonna ditch the 3 cards in my hand so I don't have to discard them anyways and deal 10k to your board.
yeah,
I I think that's really cool. I really like that.
yeah. That is pretty cool.
Next we have Lilith. So when she enters, you gain a crystal. Perfectly good. Now I did notice out of the ones that they revealed, I think I said this like last week or the week before maybe, but there wasn't a whole lot of S abilities on the FFBE cards, right? So I obviously if it's an
Yeah,
FFBE card, I want it to have a special because I want to be able to abuse Glaciella and yada yada yada. This is a
yeah,
clean 7k ping for the low cost of a crystal, right? So I don't
yep.
think that's horrible, but it's only as good if you're on literally a Glaciella and her, maybe. Like,
Yeah,
because at some point Glaciella just becomes increasingly more damage. So I don't know that it's necessarily, it's only good up to a certain extent. And after that point, Glaciella just becomes the better choice, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So it's fine. I don't think it'll see much play, but it's fine. Um, Luartha, very nice card. When Luartha attacks, choose a forward your opponent controls, deal it 5k. Perfectly fine. But for the cost of a crystal, she gains haste. And then at damage 3, when she enters the field, choose a forward your opponent controls, deal it 5k. So potentially, I think this is busted. Potentially, at damage 3, she costs 1, right? So she enters, she deals something 5k. You pay a crystal, which the running rate for crystals is roughly like 2 CP nowadays. It might be slightly less. I don't think so. But, anyways, pay a crystal, literally attack and ping something for another 5k. I mean, you're effectively getting
Yeah.
rid of their biggest guy.
Yeah, that's true.
I
Not bad.
that Yeah, that's perfectly fine by me, and especially if you're in a self-inflicting, um, damage heavy mono fire deck where you're dealing points of damage to yourself. This just gets online that much faster. So
Yeah.
not horrible. Um, I think it might see some niche play. I mean, there is a world where this is good in Bart's Boko, right? Because 1 CP forward,
Yeah.
it's going to gain haste off of Bart, so therefore, at damage 3, basically for free when you party attack with Bart's, you're just going to grab a 10k ping. That's cool, but, eh.
Eh,
So, speaking of Bart's Boko, was there anything cool I can add to Bart's Boko besides that? No, nothing yet. Okay.
no, not really.
So, moving into Ice. Ice Bomb. Take it away, Monster Man.
During your turn, Ice Bomb also becomes a forward with 3,000 power. When the Ice Bomb attacks, choose one forward your opponent controls, freeze it. At damage 3, when Ice Bomb attacks, choose one forward, dull it. I think that's pretty cool. At damage 3, it's going to become a free, basically a dull and freeze every turn.
Yeah.
Um, there was where you made that deck with Realm and the flickering effect to play multiple 1 CP flans. You could
Yeah.
essentially do that with Ice Bomb now.
Yeah, I think that I feel like that's probably a decent package to fit it in. I definitely feel like that dull freeze every attack on damage 3 is going to be painful.
Yeah.
Especially when you get 3 of these guys out and you start dull and freezing 3 forwards every turn. Like that's gonna be rough.
Especially for only 1 CP.
Yeah. Well, for effectively 0 CP if you get it off a realm.
Yeah.
So I mean, I do
Yeah.
I do agree. I think that's potentially hazardous. That could be really rough.
Yeah. It might see play.
It might by someone very close and
Yeah.
dear to us. Um, Next we have Valade. That's my
Yeah.
best guess, guys. So 5k forward. Choose one forward. It gains when this forward is dealt damage. Break this forward till the end of the turn. You can only use this ability once per turn. That costs 1 CP. So already I'm kind of like looking at this guy and maybe this girl, this girl. I don't think it's outlandish to say just in the FFBE stuff that we've looked at so far, literally 4 characters, that we have. I mean, this guy's literally just breaking something effectively every turn.
Yeah. I just imagine if you played like a fire ice deck with Palom. Just ping it
Yeah,
for 1,000.
yeah. Palom literally becomes a Well, altogether, it's a 1 CP break this forward.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty good. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to see if there's enough FFBE stuff this set to really flesh that out. But I like that. I don't think that's horrible at all. Is there an FFBE character that just like deals multiple things, points of damage, or
I don't know if
I don't
there
know.
is.
Even if there's one, like I was thinking, Glaciella basically becomes a an automatic break that much sooner. But are you really running
Yeah.
water ice FFBE? Probably not. But
Mm-mm.
anyways, um, so Emina, another type 0 for you. When she enters the field, you may search for an ice character of 2 or less and add it to your hand. As a 4 CP backup, adding a character of 2 or less. Personally, I think that's a little hefty in terms of what I'm getting back.
Yeah.
It's nice that it can search monsters, I guess. It's nice that it can search other backups, I guess. That's not horrible. Um,
Yeah.
in a world where we're playing uh, Ice Wind, that's not bad because you just search the Ice Moogle. You
Oh
play
yeah.
it basically. That's not terrible, I don't suppose, but it's still 4 CP, right?
Yeah.
That is kind of hefty, but I guess early game, if you can afford the setup time and the slightly wasted CP, that is probably above curve. But I don't hate it, but
Yeah.
I think it's not the most cost effective way of searching for a character.
Definitely not.
Kistis. Back to the Category 8 stuff. So when Kistis enters the field, choose up to the same number of characters as the Category 8 forwards you control and dole them. If you dole 3 or more Category 8, or if you control 3 or more Category 8 characters, also freeze them. Now, I love this. I love it so much, but I can't explain to you yet because we haven't made it to my other boy Squall. But, anyways, I love
Yes.
this simply because it's effectively with the Squall that we'll talk about in a minute. It is potentially a game pusher, right? She does not have to enter at the worst opportune time. She can enter at a decent time, dole a whole bunch of stuff, freeze a whole bunch of stuff, and just deal mayhem. Like I think she's got a lot of potential.
Yeah. Definitely.
I mean, we've seen this type of effect on the Opus 15 Celeste. Is that what that was? So obviously this
Yeah.
doles up to the same number of categories, 6 characters. Is it this one that doles? Oh, let's choose up to 2 dole and freeze them. Never mind. I was thinking of this one. But I mean, this is stupid good. Obviously, it's at a slightly better rate. It's 2 CP versus the 3 for Kistis, but this also
Hmm.
freezes them, which I can't argue that that's good. I can't argue. I agree
Yeah.
with anybody that thinks that's good automatically.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Another standard unit backup 2 CP Bard. You can tap him, choose a forward of 2 or less, and dull it. I don't hate that. 1 CP to dull something. It's a decent category 13 stopper already.
Yeah.
Or we have this same kind of activation cost as before, where we pay 1, tap him, discard an ice card, put Bard into the break zone. So a full line of text for the activation cost, which is horrible. But choose a dull forward, break it. I don't hate that actually.
Yeah. I know it's gonna probably not see play, but if you are playing it, they're always gonna keep that in mind when they're gonna attack with their stuff. For
That's
sure.
exactly what I was thinking. Is like it's a very good showstopper if they're not careful.
Yeah.
But pretty standard outside of that. Haha, standard unit. Um, Kurasame. So this guy was actually he was kind of spoiled, and a lot of people are making fun of how the card art looks like a eighth grader did their project in GIMP or something. Anyways, so obviously he's huge, 7 CP, huge cost, 9K body, pretty dang good. But when he enters the field, select 2 of the following actions. Choose up to the same number of characters as ice backups you control, dull them and freeze them. Or your opponent discards 1 card for each ice backup you control. So I don't hate either of those effects, although in ice, mono ice specifically, because it calls out ice backups, how often are we getting to 5 backups?
Not often. I think Mono Ice is probably going to be comfortable around 3.
Yeah, the current aggressive mono ice. I mean,
Oh, that's
I'm honestly perfectly fine with 1 backup most of the
1.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
Lufinian is just boom. That's all I really care about. But obviously, in the more setup-y type of situations, yeah, this guy could be very punishing. If you're at full 5 backups, you're tapping 5, ditching 1 to play him. Dull and freeze literally 5 characters, not horrible. Or potentially making them discard their entire hand.
Yeah.
I mean,
It could
that's
be
rough, right?
devastating.
Yeah. And then, of course, he
I
has
think you're going to discard your entire hand to play him, though.
yeah, tradesies. That's fine with me. But he also has the special to choose a forward deal at 9K. That's whatever. I mean, that's fine. He's in ice. He's not going to get the extra ping damage like we've been talking about for fire, so it's not like you can round that up to 10K as easily. Yeah, I mean, is it nice that he's a Type 0 or Agido Cadet? Does that do anything for you?
No.
Good.
Not really.
Good. He's just that much worse.
Yeah. I don't know why he's even a legend.
I was going to say, I think he's going to be one of those dollar legends, like a couple weeks into the
Yeah.
set. He's not going to be very, very sought after.
Unless something changes. I don't know. Something could happen. Some genius could come up with something that makes it abuse.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Moving on to Cloud of Darkness. So 5 CP forward, very hefty cost there. When Cloud of Darkness enters the field, if your opponent has 2 or less in hand, your opponent selects a forward they control, put it in the break zone. Very ice related situation, very water related effect. It's very interesting that this is, I mean, it's perfectly in line with Cloud of Darkness, obviously, but I did notice that there were several cards being revealed, teased, or whatever that had this clause of 2 cards or less in their hand. So it does seem like that's almost going to be kind of like a thing that you can start to build around now, more reliably at least. We've had that in the past, of course, but
Yeah.
I don't know that I want to pay 5 CP, have this weird, obscure, unless I'm literally building an entire deck around 2 cards or less, just to have your opponent select a forward that they control and put it in the break zone. In the best case scenarios, they're putting something that they paid, 5 or 6 CP for. I'm perfectly fine with that. In the worst case scenario, they're going to put something that they paid 2 CP for. I don't like it.
Nah.
Yeah, not a fan. 6
Yeah.
CP Seymour. Is this the first Seymour we've had in ice? I think it is. I love the EX burst. I hate the 6 CP cost. When Seymour enters the field, choose a dull forward and break it. So I'm not.
I think
Go ahead.
that's just bad.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I think that it's too expensive, and
Very situational.
yeah, very situational. Even if
It
I
has
take
to
it
be
as
dull.
even if I take it into the EX burst, it's an easy clap back against whatever they just attack with, right? That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But uh, do I include that? Like, do I really have room to just put 3 cards in the deck because I want the EX burst. I never ever want to cast this thing.
Eh,
I mean,
I think it's a terrible card to play 6 for, and it's only 7K. That should be
but
a 9K body at 6.
I agree with that. But if you think about the current iteration of Mono Ice Aggro, it's a perfect candidate because Mono Ice Aggro really only has like a core of what, like maybe 20 cards that they care about. And then the rest of the deck is just kind of cards to get to the cards I care about. So there's plenty of flex spots in that deck to play this card literally as CP fodder, just to ditch to play Rug or Rufus or whatever. But it's also perfect if I have a slow start and have to start taking damage. It's easy to clap back with that. So I could see it working out really well in that scenario, but that's a very niche deck that obviously it's meta relevant right now, but it's a very niche situation.
Yeah.
Overall, I don't like it, but it's okay.
Nah.
So then we have Shiva's here. So all cards your opponent controls lose all their abilities till the end of the turn. I love that. If the CP was cast, or if the CP paid to cast Shiva was only produced by backups, also draw a card. I like this.
Yeah.
I think overall this is fantastic summon.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Interesting that it's in ice.
Yeah, it's really more like a water, but
Yeah, it does kind of feel more of like a water type of card. But I'm not opposed to it.
yeah.
I think it's an easy shoe in for Mono Ice Aggro because I just blank all your stuff and then start swinging.
Yeah.
Not horrible. I think it's a solid card.
Yeah.
Cisne, Turk support, also a Category 7 card. So maybe you play that monster we were talking about earlier and jump into Cisne here. So she has haste, but she does enter the field dull. But when one or more of your job member of the Turk forwards other than Cisne attacks, you get to activate her and she can attack once more this turn.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. So Turks just got this like super oppressive multi-attacker, right? So she enters the field dull,
Mm-hmm.
meaning you already have to have some sort of board presence to really get the most out of her. You swing with Rufus, or no, you swing with Reno, whatever the hell his name is. You swing with Reno, and you activate Cisne. You swing with Cisne. You swing with Rude. You activate Cisne. Swing with Cisne. You swing with Sang. Like you just start swinging with these guys, and they already, like, if you think about the Opus 15, was that 15? No, yeah, 15. You start swinging with these guys that already have these busted effects, right? So Reno, if you control job president or job member of the Turks, if you control a job president of Shinra, the job member of Turks, you control gain 1,000 and first strike. So, hello, she just became a 7K with first strike. If you control job president of Shinra, the job member of the Turk forwards, you control gain 1,000 and brave. So now she doesn't even dull when she attacks. That's pretty nutty, right?
Yeah.
Well, actually,
What's the other one that lets you play one from the break zone when it attacks or something? Is that Rufus? Or
when Rufus attacks, you can choose a job member of the Turks, add it to your hand.
I thought there was one like you either pay one or something, and then you can play another one onto the field. Or when it attacks, you play another one onto the field.
When enters the field, reveal
Teasing.
top 5. This guy, this Rufus, when he enters, you can pay basically 6, and then you can choose any number of job member of the Turks to play him onto the field.
I don't know. I thought there was one that played one from the break zone or from the deck or something.
Reno plays Rude specifically from the deck, but it's the new Reno. But he just plays Rude straight from the deck, unfortunately.
Does Root have haste,
He does not.
or is it a?
Um, but when he enters, you don't freeze something, so you get a little bit of a kickback.
Yeah,
But I do think this is good. Although the way that this is worded, when one or more job member of the Turk force other than the Cisne you control attacks, activate Cisne, because this is the second part of that, I would think that this part has to complete so that you could get the attack once more per turn. I'd have to double check that ruling, but it'd kind of be like
yeah,
the if you don't break a forward for arc, you don't make them discard 2 cards kind of thing. So I'd have to double check that. If she gets brave, it might break the timing of that and not allow that to work. But either way, um, even without brave, I think she's still stupid good.
yeah.
Plus, I do like the art of that. That's pretty cool. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Jill Nabat. So EX burst 3 costs forward. When she enters the field, you may search for a job Psycom and add it to your hand. Now, I don't know about you, but I haven't looked up Psycom probably ever.
I did earlier,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think there's a lot going there.
I don't know much about the new stuff. We'll get into those, but yeah, Yagrosh.
Yeah.
Probably the best thing that I got going in my brain, because you got Jonabot, 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 and that's about it. So Yagrosh or these 2 new guys, which one of them is also Yagrosh. So yeah,
Yeah.
not a huge fan. Maybe Opus 23 will get some more Psycom support. Maybe they're going to bring that back.
Maybe it's just a way to set up your Ice Lightning.
Yeah, I mean, it technically is a decent color fixer right there. And then this
Yeah.
Yagrosh is kind of in line with what the other ones do. The backups you control other than him can't be chosen. I mean, this guy's not horrible. Choose a forward to 2 or less and break it. Choose a lightning character, breaks on, add it to your hand. I don't hate that.
Yeah.
But, overall, eh. Shinryu Celestia, so it's also a card named Celestia in all situations. Choose a forward, it gains 4k until the end of the turn. You can only use this ability if you control 5 or more ice backups. I think this will never see play.
Probably not.
I don't think that that's going to be good in very many situations at all. It's type 0, so there's that, but it's a Lassie, so it's not really that searchable. Except
Yeah. To
for
be honest,
that one card we just looked at, Amina, she does search for it.
yeah. But to be honest, in a world where we have Wool, the Warrior of Light, FF13, and a bunch of other decks that are kind of quick, the aggro ice, these cards to be coming out that say when you control 5 backups, like I don't think we're ever gonna see a time relatively close where you're gonna be on 5 backups.
Yeah,
I don't think you're gonna be playing a deck that plays 5 backups unless you're playing the 4 color Warrior of Light that can get to it pretty quick.
yeah. We need something. We
But
need them to show us something that proves to us that they are going to slow the game state down.
yeah, I
Which,
don't see that.
yeah, I think there. Obviously, I think there's a video idea there, but there needs to be something that we know is going to slow the game state, because otherwise we're just going to keep pounding our head against Fire Lightning 13, Mono Ice, Wall. I mean, Giga
Even
Wall is
like,
a thing, you know.
yeah, it's pretty quick. It can be quick,
Yeah. So
especially with the Gilgamesh and attacking and all that. Like
yeah,
it can knock you down pretty daggone quick.
yeah,
And then Magissa being able to churn out forwards
yeah. I
fairly
mean,
decent.
that is an oppressive deck. If you don't stop it, you're just gonna get run over.
Yeah.
Next, my boy Squall. So this is kind of what I was waiting on to kind of, I guess, get a little into the Category 8 stuff. So the reason that all the aforementioned Category 8 cards are interesting, and all the ones that we'll talk about from here on, I will reference Squall, because Squall seems to obviously be the centerpiece of Category 8 in and of itself. But this Squall in particular, 4 CP, 8K, so he's right in line with where he should be. If you control 4 or more Category 8 characters, Squall gains 2K. So characters is important there. You're going to be playing some Sid Kramer backups. You're going to be playing some Category 8 forwards and whatever, right? So as you build your Category
Yeah.
8 board, you're automatically going to gain 2K. And if he's dealt damage by your opponent's abilities, the damage becomes 0 instead. So he survives Hecaton. He survives all that fire junk we were just talking about earlier. He survives things that are just going to try to ping him down. But the special part about him is at the beginning of the attack phase, during each of your turns, for free, just I enter attack phase. That's all you have to say, and you get this effect. You can play one Category 8 forward of cost 4 or less from your hand onto the field. So referencing the selfie earlier, the reason that the selfie is good is because she literally can be played off a Squall for free, and then as soon as you play her, you can activate her effect in response to her ETB, and basically she'll enter, she'll search for a forward, you choose to activate this effect, place that effect on Squall on the turn that he was literally just played, and then you just effectively played Squall. Squall played Selfie. Selfie gives him an extra 1,000 and haste and brave. And she just searched for you something, right? And that's a little out of
Hmm.
color, because so far, I personally think that the Ice Lightning Category 8 is kind of the package that seems to be meshing really well right now. There's a case to be
Yeah.
made for Mono Lightning 8, and I'll try them all, but eventually. But either way, we're talking about this. So I don't think that's bad. I think Squall gives you an out to play those Category 8 forwards that are off color. Even if you have to ditch him for CP at some point, you can. But as soon as you get Squall on field, he literally starts to set up a board with a bunch of different elements, right? And
Yeah.
I do like this selfie, right? So oddly enough, this selfie is very interesting because for each forward other than fire you control, she gains 2K. So in a world where you're not playing a fire deck and you cheat her out, she could be
Hmm.
massive. It's cute. I definitely think that this selfie's better, but anyways,
Yeah, it's. I think that's going to be a good card. And then even like, I mean, you're going to be if you're playing the Ice Lightning, you're always going to have Sid Kramer because doesn't he color fix them?
he does.
So I mean, it's not going to be a dead card. You know,
No.
if you draw it, you might be able to still play it off of Sid Kramer, the
Yeah.
selfie,
Yeah.
if you don't free play off of Squall. So
Yeah. I definitely think that this Squall seals Category 8's kind of fate in one way or the other. Um, when we get into the lightning stuff, we'll talk a little bit more about that. But anyways, I definitely like this card.
still don't know why
Um,
Samurais or Class Hero Cadets couldn't get something like that, but
because never mind, I won't say it. Sephiroth.
because they
So
suck.
so we have this is actually our signature card this set, which obviously Final Fantasy VII Rebirth just came out. There's a lot of hype around Final Fantasy VII. Yay, 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 whatever. I do think the signature of this will probably be worth a pretty penny. Um, as far as the card goes, I'm not a huge fan of it. We've known about this card for 3 or 4 months now, or whatever. But anyways, when Sephiroth enters the field, your opponent discards a card. For the cost of 3, one of which has to be ice, 2 can be anything. You can remove him from your hand from the game. So essentially, he's a hand trap. Choose a dull forward, break it. That's good. Till the end of your turn, you can
That
cast
sounds like
Sephiroth.
Sephiroth.
Yeah, it really does. Um, Until the end of the turn, you can cast Sephiroth removed by this ability's cost. You can only use this ability if he's in your hand. So my issue is that I guess the first time I do it, I have to pay 6 to end up getting him on board, right? Because I pay the 3 to remove him, break your dull forward. Cool. Until the end of the turn, I can now cast him, so I pay 3 more, put him onto the field. When he enters the field, you're going to discard a card. Cool. So you just lost a forward and you lost a card in your hand. Fine. I got that. But if you never get rid of that Sephiroth, if he sits there for the rest of the game, I effectively have a 3 CP hand trap that just breaks a dull forward.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's okay. I don't love it, but I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I like a world where I just play him for the discard and then flicker him an insane amount of times to make you keep discarding. I like that plan better personally. But eh.
Yeah.
I think he's definitely the better of the two Ice Legends for sure. Because Kurosame up here is kind of sad.
So in the set, there's gonna be 3 different Sephiroth full arts. Is that right? So it's gonna be the Ice Lightning reprint,
Yeah, so we have the Ice Lightning reprint. We have this one, which is the
and then I was
signature
thinking
one.
there was. I'm not sure, but when I was looking at the IGN link that somebody had posted on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
it showed that same Sephiroth without the gold lettering in a full art, which was weird. So maybe there's going to be a full art Sephiroth that's not signatured.
I don't know. I did see that in the Discord. I think they were talking about that, but I don't know that that's going to be what we end up getting. I think
Yeah, I have no clue.
because if you think back to other signatures, we never got a full art Yuffie that wasn't signature. We didn't get a full art
Hmm.
Cloud that wasn't signature. I think we just end up getting the signature version and just the foil version. Like that's it. And then obviously we get the Opus 18 reprint or whatever.
Yeah,
But
we'll
next
find
moving
out.
on. Yeah, next moving on to Time Mage, we've got standard unit forward. When she enters the field, choose a forward, duel, and freeze it. For 2 CP, I like that. When she enters the field, also choose one character. If you control 2 or more jobs, standard unit back up, duel, and freeze it. So I like this one. This one feels better than the fire version, which just to refresh my memory because I have the memory of a fucking goldfish. Where was the standard unit? Was there a standard unit? Fire forward.
Of no, there was a
Oh, it was the
backup.
warrior. If you
Oh yeah,
control
yeah,
2 or more job standard units, that no, but this one I like. I like this one. That's actually pretty
yeah.
decent. Potentially choosing 2 things and doling it freezing for 2 CP. I don't hate
Yeah.
that. Next, we move on to Medusa. So, when Medusa enters the field, choose a forward, place 1 petrification counter on it, and it gains if a petrification counter is placed on this forward cannot attack or block. And for 5 CP, remove all petrification counters from this forward. These effects do not end at the end of the turn. Now, this I also really love. Only
Yeah.
because I want to build a Medusa deck that just flickers Medusa when I need it to be flickered so that I can just place petrification counters on random junk.
Yeah. That would be cool.
Yeah, I like the idea of being able to just stop you from doing anything, or you pay 5 CP to get rid of that.
I myself, just based off of looks, I think this should be a monster for one. I think
That's
that
fair.
just has the look of a monster card.
That's fair.
And then plus, it would be amazing if it was a monster because I think there is a Emperor Sid what is the FF6 Gestalt that
Yeah.
lets you multiply counters on stuff, I guess. I guess it places on itself, but it would be cool to be able to place on something else so you could just basically, like you said, be able to do something that's pretty creative.
Yeah.
There it is. That
There,
you,
yeah. Choose a monster you control, select a counter placed on it.
oh, it's on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was always looking for a way to abuse that, but couldn't figure out a way to do it.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't
what counters do
monsters
we
have
really want to?
counters.
Yeah, what counters do we really want to abuse at that point?
Nah, I don't really know that many of the monsters that have them. I
Yeah.
guess just like the Sahagin Chiefs, it just speeds that up and stuff.
Yeah. But overall, I do think that
But
this is interesting.
yeah, could be pretty cool.
I think it's a very good tax deck candidate, right? Ice Lightning
Yeah,
Tax is looking pretty good right now with the Man in Black from Opus 21 and Sid Randell and blah blah blah, and very very cool.
yeah,
R1 CP backup, literally it's the same exact thing. FFCC backup, which is I think still good, but to color fix maybe that's all I care about. But otherwise I don't care about that. Renoa. So I actually think there are better candidates in the category 8 deck than this Renoa currently, but this Renoa fits very well in just a general mono ice deck, or it's a great discard outlet in general. She does have the clause that if you control
yeah,
Squall, the cost is reduced by 1. So she's potentially a 2 CP backup, which is good. But then you can put her into the break zone and your opponent discards 2 cards. And she has a wonderful full art, which looks really good. You can only use that effect during
yeah,
your turn, though. So there is kind of that drawback, but I personally think that's perfectly fine.
yeah,
Yeah. Moving into wind. You still doing good over there?
yeah. I'm good.
Okay.
We can always do this for sure.
So next we have Alexander. Choose a forward you control and one forward your opponent controls. During this turn, the next damage dealt to the former is dealt to the latter. If the CP paid to cast Alexander is produced by backups, draw one card. So this has huge shenanigan antics written all over it. I really like this because, especially in wind, when you go to attack and I need to block, I've usually only got like these 1K, 3K, 4K blockers, right? So I'm going to have to trade. Well, actually, I just block, cast Alexander in response to block, choose the forward that I control, and then choose a different forward that's attacking, and you just smacked yourself.
Yeah,
So I really like that. And it doesn't even have to, you could go tradesies, right? You could be attacking with a 7K. I'll block, cast this in return, and choose a different 7K that you have. And you just basically dealt damage to yourself. You just killed your own forward, right?
yeah. Could be
I,
pretty cool. A little
I like
gimmicky,
that.
but pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But I really, really enjoy that. Um, Wool as a backup here. When Wool enters the field, select one of the 2 following actions. Choose a forward of cost 6 or more and break it. Okay. And then reveal the top 5. Add 1 wind card among them to your hand. Return the other to the bottom of the deck. Um, I enjoy this card only because it fits so nicely in Refia control.
Yeah,
It's
just
a
another name
warrior.
there.
Yeah, it's a warrior light backup. It's going to reactivate. Now, is it better than the arc backup that a lot of times people are playing in the 4-color wool radio or Refia control decks, whatever? But I like it that it digs for another card, and if I'm playing a 4-color deck, I potentially could grab my 4-color wool. I could potentially break, a 6 CP forward. I mean, sure. I think it's fine. It's an option to play in that deck. Outside of that deck, I don't think it really fits much in Mono Wind. I think it's very costly to play on Mono Wind. It does help Mono Wind break certain things for 6 CP or more, but I
Yeah.
eh. Holy moly. I'm gonna give this one to you. You got this one.
Epinoris, something like that.
Sure.
Epinorisness.
Yeah.
Hell, I don't know. During your turn, it also becomes a forward with 5,000 power. It cannot be blocked by a forward of cost 4 or more. And at damage 3, it cannot be blocked by a forward of cost 3 or less. Holy shit. I guess unblockable
Yeah, it literally becomes
at
unblockable.
damage
How
3.
cool is that?
Yeah.
I like that. I really do. Um, I
I literally just finished reading the rest of that and comprehended what it did. At first, I was like, that's okay.
yeah. I mean, I definitely think that you couldn't have put this on a different monster that didn't become a forward during your turn, because then it literally becomes this unblockable thing. As soon as I pass turn, now it becomes an untargetable thing most of the time. So
Yeah.
I think it's got the perfect amount of drawback as it does power. I think it's a
Yeah.
very powerful card in general, but I think it has the perfect amount of drawback because during your turn, I now have to use some sort of effect to get rid of it.
Yeah.
I
And
don't
the
hate
fact
it.
that it's multi-playable at damage 3, at damage 3, if you have 2 or 3 of these guys out,
Start
that's
swinging,
pretty
boy.
daggone cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's
so,
cool.
so next we have uh, Enkidu. I have no idea how to freaking pronounce this guy's name. Enkidu. So when he enters the field, choose up to 3 backups you control and activate them. That is beautiful. And then when a card named Gilgamesh enters your field, you may pay 2. When you do so, play him onto the field. This will only trigger if he is in your break zone. So that just got my brain moving. I got to do some math on this guy in a little bit. But the reason that I like this guy is simply because he's a warrior. So going back to Tyvus here, play 1 warrior. Jumping warrior costs 3 or less from your hand on the field. Yeah, you want to run fire, wind warriors? Is
Yeah,
it a thing?
maybe.
Is it a thing? I don't know. Maybe. But
I don't
definitely
know.
could play him for free, and then you just get to reactivate 3 backups for free. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, that's not horrible. Now, is there a Gilgamesh that I actually care about? Obviously, this is the one that they're trying to get you to play in that, but no, there's not a Gilgamesh I care to play.
I
Not in
guess
the.
you could. I mean, you wouldn't play this, but in the 7-drop warrior light, the threes cost threes, you
Yeah.
could play the Gilgamesh and play this from your break zone. I don't know if
Well,
you're gonna be running this wind.
so this guy is Gilgamesh FFBE though, so it screws up the card name Gilgamesh on this.
Ah, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But he also isn't. I guess he's not horrible in Gigawall if you feel like you got a cast turn going. Maybe you play him off your
Mm.
Gigawall and then activate your 3 backups and keep it trucking. Eh,
Yeah, maybe.
yeah, not the greatest plan either.
Probably
But
not.
yeah, I don't feel like there's any good Gilgameshes that I would want to play him with besides possibly this guy. But anyways,
Yeah.
um, very interesting because under the effects of Tilica, he could essentially be a +1. Anyways,
Hmm.
that's me doing stupid stuff. 3CB Kane. So this guy has a beautiful, beautiful card art and this freaking full art. Look at this guy.
That's nice.
That's good. That's good. As far as his effects, he has haste and first strike, and when he attacks, choose 2 characters and activate them. So, not horrible. At damage 3, he does also gain 1,000. Dang it. So this reminds me heavily of the other Kane in Opus 15, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're gonna play Dragoons, which I was gonna make a version of Dragoons that ran Wind,
Mm-hmm.
um, and you're gonna run the Wind Dragoon backup that 3 drop that gets your crystal, and the other 2 drop that get your crystal. So you're gonna have the crystal for this cane. I just feel like this is such a better cane than that one
Yeah.
if you're
Two
running Dragoons.
2 CP versus 3 CP. Obviously, Opus 15 wins. EX versus non-EX. And
8K.
8K versus 6K, potentially 7K at damage 3. This guy also activates all of the characters that you control.
And or draw 1 card.
Yeah. So yeah, I do agree that this is ultimately probably the better of the two. The only thing that is potentially the drawback is if you have to have a crystal. This guy doesn't have to have the crystal. This guy also has haste and first strike, so maybe. But Barbara gives this guy haste anyways.
Mm-hmm.
We need some canes that have some better specials, because this right here ain't hitting it, and this definitely ain't hitting it.
No,
We got plenty of
definitely
canes out
not.
there, boys. Let's go ahead and get some specials going. Ranger. So standard unit backup, very similar to the ones we've already talked about. Tap him, put him in the break zone, choose forward of 2 or less, deal at 5K. Tap 1, tap him, discard a win card, and put him into the break zone. Choose a monster, break it. I'm all for monster hate, but that is the wrong kind of monster hate.
Yeah, it's just too much. You're
Yeah,
gonna break something like that costs 2.
yeah, and I effectively am paying 6 CP to do that because I pay 2 to put him on the field, wait a turn, pay 1, tap him, discard a win card, and put him into the break zone. Good God, that's way too much just to break a monster. No.
Yeah, because monsters are generally gonna be 2 or less. So
Yeah.
you do have your other ones, but
Yeah. So our one
they're
CP
okay.
backup, same exact thing. FFCC wind. I mean, obviously this is perfectly fine in mono wind. I don't think this is bad. Here again, I think mono wind ends up getting the better end of the deal, but this is still very bleh to me. I don't really care.
Yeah,
Sid FFBE. So I'm very interested. I don't remember exactly what this guy did. At the beginning of the attack phase during each of your turns, now I remember. Select one of the 2 following actions. Choose 2 characters to activate them, or all the forwards you control gain. This forward cannot be chosen by your opponent's summons until the end of the turn. Sure. I guess that's okay. I don't.
yeah,
I think we were talking about this at one point when he was first revealed, but I don't care to enter into the attack phase just to reactivate 2 characters. It's also during each of your turns, so it's not like I can swing and then as soon as you go to enter, get to reactivate 2 things for blocks. It's not like it's that kind of guy. I mean, I feel like typically I'm going to enter and always be choosing that my forwards cannot be chosen by my opponent's summons. I feel like that's kind of like the safer bet. He also does have when he is put from the field into the break zone, you may pay 3 when you do so play him from the break zone.
not the greatest.
Yeah, I just don't feel like that's worth playing. I really don't. I don't like it
Definitely not.
in almost any sense. I definitely don't like it than the other Sid FFBE. The only thing that I like about him is he is literally special fodder because up until this point we have not had another Sid FFBE. So he is special fodder for this guy. That I can get behind. And because
Yeah,
Materia Hunter is using brackets. Yeah. That's the only thing I like about him. Other than that, I'd never put it in a sleeve, I don't think. Sasha. If you control a job Dragoon or a card named Dragoon, Sasha's reduced by 2. I like it. I love it. It's in wind. It's automatically not going to go in my Dragoon deck, but I like it. Choose a forward, deal at 4K. For the low cost of tapping her. I mean,
yeah.
You were talking
I,
about a Wind Lightning Dragoons. I think that's interesting.
yeah, I mean, you would have to play this because there's not really that many Wind Dragoons. So you would have to play this, the Cane, and the standard unit backup Dragoons to even make that work.
Yeah.
So
Not. I think it takes Dragoons in an interesting direction, but I don't think we have enough to really fully go down that road yet.
I don't think so because you would have to have another Wind Dragoon that you would get a benefit because the only benefit to running Wind would be to run your Cane. Like you're gonna put all this Wind in there just to play that Cane.
Yeah.
I don't.
Obviously, I think that Dragoon is perfectly fine as a backup. And then, yeah, the one from Opus 15 as well. Eh.
Yeah.
I don't hate it, but I don't know that I would build
They'll
it right now.
eventually be more probably. So
Yeah. Chalinka, if you control 3 or more category FFCC characters, which is always very easy with FFCC, card name Yuri you control gains haste. I hate it. I absolutely hate this card. I would never play this
the
over
last
the
ones were
other.
better.
Yeah, yeah. This is so much worse. And the card art,
Yeah.
I am also a little bit weirded out by. Uh,
Yeah.
Next, we have Dorgan. So when he enters the field, select one of the following 3. If you have cast 3 or more cards this turn, select 2 instead. So choose a forward of cost 5 or more, remove it from the game. I like that. Choose a monster, remove it from the game. I like that. Choose 2 cards from your other player's break zone, remove them from the game, and then draw 1 card. Not
Yeah.
horrible.
No.
Until I get a Silja replacement that searches for Category 5 characters. Category 5, I'm saying it here, I will die on this sword. Category 5 will not go anywhere until we get a new searcher. Sildra was good
Yeah.
because it made Mono Water busted, but Sildra did not deserve to be banned just to kill Category 5. I understand that it had to be banned, whatever, but Category 5 will not go anywhere until we get something that does what Sildra did. It's
Yeah,
rough.
definitely.
It's rough. Non-Amigo. So you were pretty high on this card when it got revealed.
Yeah. I
When,
like it.
when she enters, select one of the 2 following actions. Choose a forward of cost 2 or less in your opponent's break zone. Play it onto the field. I love it. Choose one summon of cost 3 or less in your opponent's break zone. Cast it as though you owned it. If you cast it, remove it from the game instead of putting it in the break zone. I also love it. I do actually really love this card. And the one thing that I hate about it is that I can't abuse it.
Yeah.
But we've already talked about like flicker decks so far in the video, and I think this is like another prime candidate because as long as your opponent isn't playing something stupid high costed deck, like I think this is really really fun. Grab a
I just
forward of 2 or less, and then flicker it to grab another one. That's cool.
yeah. I just really enjoyed it because the job is robber, and you're literally taking stuff from their break zone.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty cool.
and it just free cast a summon. God, it's so
Yeah.
good. I love that. I really do.
Yeah. You can
Uh,
miss Dragon their own.
oof, that is good.
Yeah.
Although it kind of screws
Which
her
Miss
up.
Dragon is going to be a thing here soon with
Yeah,
Category 8.
yeah. Don't put that out into the universe just yet. Wait
Yeah.
until I've had some success with the deck. Um,
Yeah.
so next we have Bart's, which is a beautiful Bart's. Remove 3 Job Warrior Lights from the break zone from your game. Bart's gains. Bart's cannot be chosen by your opponent's abilities till the end of the turn. But then he has this beautiful special time magic for a copy of Bart's and X. Search for a Job Warrior of Light of cost X or less, which is important. Play it onto the field. Well, I guess of X or less isn't super important since you can call 3 and just ditch 2. But anyways, um, this literally grabs 4-color wool straight from the deck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's busted.
that's that's pretty cool.
Do I need to go second to make that happen? I have 2 Barts in hand, and then I have 2 extra cards in hand. So then I have to have
Yeah.
1 extra card. So yeah, I can do this turn 1, right? Ditch 1 to play Barts. Ditch
Mm-hmm.
Barts, pay 2, or ditch 2. Yeah, you can do all that turn 1. That's dumb. That's
Yeah.
really dumb.
That's good in your Warrior of Light deck because
Yeah,
if you just run multiple copies of Barts just to play any Warrior of Light
yeah.
that you need.
That's good. And so Leon and I have been pretty high on. I did build this, and we'll definitely be bringing it to locals tomorrow. I rebuilt this, but I built it in a wind water bounce uh, package, and it's pretty dumb. But I like to utilize this light bar. It's only because I can ditch it for the special, and then while it's
Mm.
in the break, just pay 2, remove him, and then literally reveal 5, add a warrior light back. So
Yeah.
I think there was a game I was playing with Rigo actually that I ditched it for a special. I removed it and then literally revealed another Bart's, added the Bart's to my hand, ditched that Bart's for the other special here, paid 2 again, removed it, revealed a third Bart's, and ditched the Bart's to be able to attack 3 times.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's really fun. But this Bart's also does cool things. Anyways, um, so the next we have Geomancer. Cannot be chosen by your opponent's abilities. When Geomancer enters the field, choose up to 3 backups. If you control 2 or more job-centered unit backups, activate them. Okay. When it enters the field, choose up to 3
Not probably gonna.
backups. Well, it's a potential +5.
Yeah.
So basically, with Opus 8 Warrior Light on the field, you can tap 2. Well, with Warrior Light on the field, you're going to reactivate 2. If you're under the effects of Tilica and Refia, he becomes 2 CP himself. So he effectively taps 2, Warrior Light reactivates 2, and then when he enters the field, you choose 3 backups. And as long as you have 2 or more job standard unit backups already, you activate all 3 of those backups. So potentially
Yeah.
cost 2, 5 reactivations. Yeah. So I think it's a little bit more narrow in the fact that it says backups and not characters. So I don't think it takes anything away from my current loop situation, but it's very interesting. I also don't play any standard unit backups. So, anyways, probably not going to see much play. Hope. When Hope enters the field, reveal the top 4. Add a Category 13 card among them from to your hand. Return the others to the bottom. And then he has Aurorga. It's always been hard to pronounce those. A special, a win. Choose a forward of 9,000 power or more and break it. Interesting. But
Yeah.
probably not going to be played very much.
Probably not.
I mean, it's going to be hard for them to print Category 13 cards that top um, the starter cards, right? I mean, that
Mm-hmm.
Hope is just never going to be not favored. I mean, literally search for a Category 13 and add it to your hand. Just boom, for 4 CP. This reveals 4, which is already an odd number. Not literally, but it's odd that we're not doing 5. Why aren't we doing 5? I don't know. That's weird. And in what deck am I running multiple Hopes? Like, am I just running that with 3 copies of this Hope to do that? I don't know. I don't like it very much. I don't think it'll be used very much.
No.
Then we have Helena Leonis. So for the low cost of one crystal, reveal the top two cards of your deck. Remove one card among them from from the game, and then put the other at the bottom of the deck. You can cast it as any time you could normally cast it this turn. The cost is reduced by 2. You can only use the ability during your turn, only once per turn. That I do not hate.
No, it could work.
You remove one card, you stick the other card at the bottom, and then you basically free cast it if it's 2 or less.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Just hopefully you hit good.
Yeah, and it's only reveal the top 2, so obviously it's not digging real deep, but it is getting there.
Yeah.
Not horrible. I could see it in some kind of like super low costed, high cast. Um, I mean, actually thinking about it, if you remove Chocobo, Opus 10 Chocobo, I mean, you cast that for free, bounce A forward. You could bounce literally her and draw a card, and then replay her, pay another crystal, do it again. I mean, that's kind of interesting. It gets your cast count up for sure.
Yeah. It
I
could
don't hate
work.
it. Yeah. Lilith set. So when she enters the field, choose a forward your opponent controls. Deal it 1,000 for each character you control. This I don't hate, although I feel like it's a win more card.
Yeah, you already got a board established at that point.
Yeah, I'm not. It's whatever. Um, Redis. So the cost required. Well, Redis. I don't fucking know. Cost required to cast him is reduced by 1 for each job Sky Pirate you control, and the job Sky Pirates other than him cannot be chosen by your opponent's summons. So, Mr. Sky Pirate Man, how do you feel about this guy?
I think it's gonna add another name to be able to do the Pinello free play basically.
Mm-hmm.
And if you already got all that stuff out there, then you can almost free play this for a low cost.
Yeah.
And then I run the tricolor pirates, so it can be searched off Gabrinth or Cabrunth, whatever you want to say,
Mm-hmm.
to play at a reduced cost. It just it's protection because I run the Cecil in there for protection, but this can kind of add some. It's not as good as Cecil, but it's a 9K, pretty
Yeah.
decent. And then
9K
also,
body is not bad.
yeah, also playing with the 4 drop van that your Sky Pirates can't be blocked by. 4 of cost 4 more, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I mean that's pretty good.
Yeah. All right, guys. So, like we said at the beginning, this is kind of just like part 1 of X, where X is equal to the number of videos we end up making. And in the next few videos, we'll go over the next few elements: Earth, Lightning, Water, Light, Dark, and then the limit break cards. So we'll hopefully come back and do that in a couple of days. I don't know. I might actually upload this on Wednesday. Well, it'll definitely be Wednesday before I can even get it edited. So, anyways, we'll do that in the next little bit. Let us know anything that you found interesting in these first 3 elements. What decks are you looking to build? Are you the madman that's going to try to put Wind, Lightning, Dragoons together? Um, I'm more so interested. Are you going to be trying to put Category 8 together? Because that is definitely, to me, that seems like the thing they're pushing the most this set, truthfully. Um,
Yeah, I, I'm interested to build a mono fire deck. That's not Samurai's.
yeah, I'm really digging a lot of the fire stuff that's coming out this set, and obviously, I guess this will kind of be cheating because we haven't talked about it yet. But Montleonis was revealed a while back, and this boy is very very nice. I like this boy, but we'll talk about him at a later
Yes,
date. We'll give some thoughts on him. But anyways, um, did we really only get one? We didn't get a dark summon.
that's crazy.
I'm upset with that. That was our dark hero, I guess, but it's not a summon. It's interesting. That breaks kind of the cycle that you would expect. We usually get one light summon, one dark summon, and then one light or dark something else character. Anyways, so
Yeah.
yeah, guys, we're gonna call it there. Let us know what your thoughts so far of Opus 22. Also, if you've made it this far, I would actually be interested because I was going to bring this up to you, Oscar. Would people be interested if we made some proxies and played with proxies when it comes to these new sets? Like as soon as these cards are revealed, like in the North American Discord or whatever, would you be interested in us tinkering around with that? Printing off some proxies and just kind of playing with them as if we were in like a 21.5 type of format, because obviously 22 is
Yeah.
not fully released. I mean, we should be getting pre-release kits later this week. I should be receiving them. My guy actually told me today he was going to ship them first thing in the morning, so I should be receiving them
Nice.
by Friday. So hopefully, if that's the case, we can physically have the cards with us. But if not, it's all good. I was just curious if people are interested in that. I would actually think that would be fun. I just don't know. I don't like playing with proxies typically because it feels cheatish. But
Yeah.
anyways, let me know your thoughts on that down below if you're interested in seeing us do something like that. So, but yeah, that's all I have to say. I don't know if you've got
Yeah.
anything.
Nah, just enjoyed some of those cards. Definitely look forward to playing with a few of them. Definitely like the Redis and some of the Fire. So yeah, can't wait to get my hands on some of them and see how it goes.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, appreciate you listening and hope to see you in the next video.
Yep.